All right. We are
Hey.
live. Hi,
Right.
everybody, and welcome to the Flippin' Bunch. And tonight
Yay.
we are talking about paint inlays. Love them or hate them. So let's get started with our introductions. You love them.
Woo. Yay.
All right. So, Dar, you're holding up your paint inlay, so we'll start with you.
My name is Dar. I am from DIYs by Dar, and most of my socials and YouTube and Etsy. Um, well, no, Etsy, I got a different name on there, but you can get it off of my YouTube page anyway. Just put in the name of where you're going and then just put in slash DIYs by Dar, and you will find me. I've been an artist most of my life. My day job was just being an RN. So that was my
Just
play life, which now I'm retired, so I get to play all the time. And about a year ago, Levon introduced me to another artist by the name of Lel from Made by Marley. And I just seemed to really like that aspect because it's maximalism where you're using everything. You're using decoupage paper, stamps, molds, painting, different techniques, and you're making one of a kind pieces. And I've really gotten bitten by that bug this last year. So that's where I'm at.
all right.
Mm.
Kat, how about you?
Made, made by Marley was singing your song, Dar. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure.
If
Hi,
she
my
can
name
hear
is.
you, that's fine. I seem to never be able to hear everybody, but
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Kat, and I'm from Owling Dog Design. And yeah, I like to do all different kinds of things, but furniture refinishing, furniture restoration when I can work on it, and anything that allows me to make something look better than it did. Yeah.
All right.
Hey.
Well, I'm Levon, and I'm the owner and designer at Statement Designs. And it was formerly Le Vintage Decor. And my business started out as a design service, kind of budget friendly, and it evolved to a retail store. And now it's kind of where I'm just have like a booth situation. I have a room in a coffee house, and I'm very happy with that because it allows me not to be constantly there with the retail aspect of it. And I really get to enjoy more the things that I love about being an artist and a furniture artist. So, that being said, we are doing all kinds of fun things with our social media as a group and individually. So we are trying to grow our YouTube channels, and you can find me everywhere on the internet as Statement Designs. So, Crystal can't be with us tonight. And if you are joining us, just give us a comment because we can see your comments. And we're talking about paint inlays tonight. So, I think all of us here have tried paint inlays, right?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Well,
yeah,
um,
I think I've tried it twice.
Aren't they called
okay.
pain inlays?
Oh,
Pain.
all right. Well, let's get started with Kat because she had her most recent experience. And also, those of you that are watching, like I said, feel free to comment. We can see your comments, and we're happy to discuss and answer any of your questions that you have about paint inlays or, anything else you can come up with, but that we can answer. So, Kat, tell us about your paint inlay experience.
Well, um, I think they're beautiful, and I've wanted to try them for a really long time. And I took advantage of the sales because when they come out with a new line, they always put the old line on sale. And so I got a pretty good discount on them. And I tried them, but I'm guilty of not following rules. And I believe that they're made Rules are made to be broken. But no, I think the inlays are made to go down on a chalk paint, like a mineral type layer of paint. So the first time I used them, I did use it with a chalk paint. My piece that I was actually designing and decorating was made out of a really old and neglected and probably at one time spongy MDF type of fiberboard. And but it's not now. It's not wet at all, and it's not used in a damp area. But I think just because there had been some degradation underneath, um, and I didn't use a primer because I had already used a primer on the previous paint job. So I just used my chalk paint, which came out great. Um, and they did work though, right? I mean, it pulled off a few chips, but then I did them again and I chose to use I don't even know what it is. It's some sort of almost a latex paint. It may not technically be latex, but it was one of those mist tints, and it's a cabinet paint. And so I added baking soda to it so I could put a little bit of mineral in it because I thought adding the mineral and just giving it a little bit of a base would have something friendly for the inlay. And long story short, it came out on the flat part of the piece that I was working on, but I put it on with water. I misted it, and then I put it on the legs of the stool. And what I did was I wet it and I wrapped it around, and then I wet it some more, and then I really scooshed it down with my hands so it was nice and tight. And then I let it dry overnight and went back the next day, remisted it, and made it nice and wet. But as I was pulling it off, it was pulling the paint with it. So it was just so wet. And so I let it dry a little bit, and then I started pulling it off again, and it came off and left the inlay on the stool seat, but the paper started ripping and tearing. So I literally had to pick it off as much as I could, and then I sanded it down because I had leftover paper that was clinging to the legs of the stool, and I had to sand it off and do a primer and do I used what did I use? I guess I used the same mineral paint that I mixed, but instead of putting an inlay on it, I actually painted it by hand to try to match up to the top of the seat. That's a long story. I did it.
Well, you definitely saved it.
Well, I don't know. Well, then Dar said, yeah, you should have just left it there and used it as a decoupage paper. Was it Dar that said that? Yeah.
Well,
which would have been a good
I
idea.
mean,
It was a mess.
Yeah, I've seen Lel do that. She's taken like pages that she's used like 3 times,
right.
you know, and you can still see a faint design on it. And I don't think she put it, you know, like the regular way you're supposed to. She, you know, flipped it then that way. So more of that pattern was showing.
Right.
And then she went ahead and she stuck it down with her decoupage paste. Now, Kat, when you did those legs, were they wet with paint? Like, did you paint them and then put the inlay on it?
On the wet paint, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boy, I don't know.
I feel like the paper dry. I mean, you left it dry overnight, and because it was like overlapped, I feel like that it just kind of didn't dry into the paint. It dried into itself.
Oh no, it didn't overlap. It didn't overlap on itself.
Okay.
I cut them so that they would fit.
Oh, okay.
They kind of abutted one another. And I made a seam, but it was on there really tight. I didn't just lay it on. I really pushed it into the wet paint, you know, as it was wet, you know.
Sometimes you really just get a blinger.
Yeah.
Well,
So, I mean, after that experience, do you feel like you will use paint inlays again? Will you try them again?
yes, I'm going to try it on the ones that I have. I'm going to use up those papers to try to see if I can prove myself right by saying, you know, I really should use a chalk paint. Um, and I was thinking if I could use this as a sample because it's rounded. If I was going to do a round surface again, I would take the paper and instead of wrapping it so that it came very close to one another, you know what I mean? I would just leave it flopping. And then when that was cured, I would dampen it and remove it and then take it.
Oh, is Crystal here?
No, that's Gretchen. Hi, Gretchen.
Hi, Gretchen.
Hey.
We're talking about paint inlays. Okay, so you would do that differently, wrap it differently, and then also you feel like you would try using chalk paint.
Yeah, I would stick with what I was
Mara.
supposed to use.
Oh, Mara's here.
Yeah.
Hi, Mara.
Hi, Mara.
All right. So you'll try it again. You'll try it with chalk paint, and you'll try to lay the thing differently if you're using a rounded
surface. Yeah, because it seems like I'm always, even when I'm using transfers, I love to go like around edges and in between things, and I just love the way, you know, to create a design that grows with the furniture. And I think things that way.
What brand were the inlays?
There only is one brand. Yeah, there only is one brand of inlays.
Oh, IOD is the only company that makes inlays? No, see, I did not know that. I'm wondering, you know, I guess I never realized that. But I used this Marrakesh.
Okay.
And I was trying to find a picture because it's been a couple of years, so you guys could have put it up to show how mine turned out. Where I kind of messed up, and you can see. But I mean, it was not that bad of a mess up that, you know, I couldn't sell it. But what I did was I didn't put that paper smooth. It was almost like it had little ridges in it, you know, and then that sheet's not sitting completely down in that paint, and then you're going to get skiff spots, and it's not going to come out all the way. It gives you a more distressed look. And that was why it went okay with the lamp I did, because I did the bronzy tight finish on the bottom and then had the Marrakesh top. But I love this design, and I pulled this out, and because I never read the directions either.
What the heck?
So I read them right now.
Directions with paint inlays are kind of important because they, you know. But I'll tell you what, though, I feel like nobody discovers anything cool or different unless they try something different. You know, so.
Well, it says you can use them on fabric, and I never thought about that. I mean, we've tried them on baskets before. That was my other attempt at basket, and I've seen you try them on baskets, LaVon, and it came that's why
I did it on fabric.
You didn't do a basket with the inlay.
No.
Who the heck was it? Well, anyway. Brains after 60. It says that these inlays can be used on glass using a clear medium that adheres to glass. Wow. What would you use?
Well, I used my video on Saturday. I used watered down Elmer's glue just because I was working from home. So I would use like a clear coat, like Dixie Belle satin clear coat. That's what I would use. Let me say this though, because that's a sealer. And so all-in-one paints that have sealers in them, they dry differently than the chalk paint. So you have to pull that inlay out of there faster than you would with the regular chalk paint. The chalk paint, you can let it sit overnight. But if you let it sit in the all-in-one paint or with the sealer, it's going to dry really hard and fast, and it's going to stick to it.
Yeah, it does say that on here when you're using polymer based paints and top coats, the timing and results vary. So like you said, you have to take that off quicker. If it's got like polymers in it, like a top coat.
Right. And I'm wondering with that cabinet paint, I wonder if I had taken it off sooner, would I've had a less
probably
time. I got a good save on the stool top because I laid it back down again. Yeah, and it incredibly went down. I was really shocked. I didn't leave it very long either. I wanted it done right away, so I pulled that off. And you know what I did too, that I see people in the beginning when they first came out, Jonathan Mark Mendes used to use them a lot, and he was the only one that I had really seen do it for a long time. And when he did it, he said, once it goes down, you can't move it. But either it's not true anymore, or it wasn't maybe true then, you just didn't dare to, because it feels like, oh boy, I'm going to release this and the paint's going to be down there and all kinds of stuff. But you can lift that up even when it's wet and there's paint under there, and you can straighten it out, if there's a wrinkle or something, and put it back down again.
It depends too, I think, on the paint, because at the time when he was first starting to use them, I think he was still with Annie Sloan. Yeah. So that paint, it might have grabbed it a lot quicker. And one thing too, like we were talking about this previously, the misting, the idea behind misting the inlay is to mist the side with the paint on it,
because didn't know that either.
That activates, that starts the paint going. And you know what? That's not like in the instructions at all. That's just, I think people have learned, through using them, that's just a little trick that helps it along, but it just starts to activate that. So.
Well, even at the very least, I mean, and here they tell you not to generally not work a larger an area larger than 12 inches by 16 inches because of the paint drying. So I would think that just taking your mister bottle, and if your paint is starting to dry, just mist it with your mister bottle, and that should kind of
re-wet things,
bring your paint back up. I mean, not so it's dripping off, but just the mist, just a little. That's what I did. There was something else in here. Spritz lightly with an even mist of water, using a smooth, damp sponge or folded soft cloth.
So after
it talks about light pressure, because I was thinking about this, because when you're patting that down and you're trying to get it wet, what the heck is an inlay? Oh, Mara.
I know, right?
Once you find out, you're not going to want to know.
This is a paint inlay.
You're beautiful.
And this is from Iron Orchid Designs. And I'll show you, so this is from the spring release. I have some pages here.
Do you have one?
Okay. So hopefully you can see this pretty well. So there's a side to it that if you feel it, it's like dried paint. And on the other side, it's just paper. So the concept is you're laying this down because it's paint, and you're laying it in wet chalk paint, and that's what transfers the paint off. So it's an inlay. so that's what
So it sounds like Iron Orchid's the only one that makes them. So I would think their direction should be pretty standard, which Kat and I can't seem to follow. I did the second time and it came out great. There was something that okay, here it is. Starting at one corner, gently pull the paper up, keeping it at a low angle.
Right. That makes a difference.
Now, what does that mean? I mean, when I take it, it seems like I grab the end and I just keep going up and up and up and up like that. That doesn't seem like it's keeping a low angle down at the bottom.
No, what you want to do is pull it like almost like you're pulling the sheets down. You know, you don't pull your sheets up like that.
Well, even
I don't
yeah,
know.
if
I
you
guess
think about that wet paint, you know, if you pulling it up, you're kind of maybe making a stretch of paint in there. Whereas if you're pulling it low, you know, you're keeping it low. You know,
there's less stress on the surface if you pull.
Well, that other thing, somehow I started to talk about it and then I quit. It was about when you're rubbing, and you shouldn't rub. I think they tell you to pat it.
Okay.
The water on the inlay when you're first going, because if you take, like I wanted to do is like use like a wallpaper scraper thing to get so the sheet was going down straight, you know, like a decoupage piece of paper. But it was wrinkling. But the more you take and put pressure on the top with your wet paint and a piece of impregnated paper that has paint in it, you're just going to be like smearing it around on there.
Well, now I see a lot of people use brayers.
Okay. That would be less stressful for the surface.
Yeah. So, and then there's like what I call aftercare.
Yeah.
Because once you peel that up and everything's dry and it looks beautiful and you think you've made, you know, had a success, then you can have a big fail after that because it's water-based paint.
I did that too.
Yeah, it's water-based paint. So if you come in, now this to me, I do watch an awful lot of YouTubers because I watch a lot of people that do Iron Orchid designs and I watch a lot of people that do thrift flips, and just there's a lot of people using the inlays right now, especially because of the spring release. But some people come in like right after the after it's dry to seal it, and they are too forceful. I must have a heavy hand because every time I've done it, I have, you know, smeared my paint. So one thing they suggested in the beginning was to take half and half your water-based sealer and water and put it in a spray bottle and spray it. That didn't work for me. I ruined a mister bottle. So what I do is it's downstairs, but I use the Rust-Oleum 2X clear coat.
Yeah,
that's all I use, and then you can seal it.
Like an acrylic spray, shellac, it doesn't even really matter. Anything that
you can wax it or seal it or whatever.
Afterwards. Yeah.
I almost have to take that component of that Rust-Oleum spray into a lot of different aspects of what I do, especially with molds, because you put chalk paint for a base on your molds, but maybe you don't want to finish them with chalk paint because you can't get that detail out of that chalk paint really like you can out of an acrylic paint, because that chalk paint, when you go back over the top of it with another color and you just want maybe a little bit of a paint to go over the top, well, it's wet and it just mixes, and then pretty soon all you've got is a muddy mess.
Yeah.
So I always take and I'll spray with the Rust-Oleum matte clear if I've got even if I've painted on decoupage paper where repairs needed to be made. I will definitely spray that because I don't want that paint moving. And you know, anywhere you are in a process of doing something,
Right.
and you don't want that paint to smear or rub, because I have a heavy hand as well, I'll give it a little spritz of that. I think that's a pretty good rule.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely.
It's just what I do.
Yep.
So, what do you guys think? Gretchen, Mara, anybody else that's watching, have you used paint inlays, and what's your opinion of them? So I guess while we're waiting for maybe some questions, I've used them somewhat extensively because I am a retailer, a stockist for Iron Orchid Design. So the product that I'm going to say it's a couple years old now, you know. So I have had a lot of successes and a lot of fails with it. And so every time you use it, so let's say I paint something and I use white paint. So I'm going to have, when I pull up my inlay, it's going to be pretty much looking like it was in the beginning, and I can use it again. But if I put it on red paint, then I might have a little white halo. If I used red paint the first time and then I put it down in, you know, white paint, I'm definitely going to have a red halo around it.
Right.
Okay, so you ladies haven't heard of them before today. And well, Gretchen has never used them and Mara had never heard of them. You know, we talked to Kat, mentioned, you know, it's like it can be intimidating, the price. You know, you hate to spend
Really,
you know, $45 on something that you don't know, you know, may or may not work when you, especially when you hear people talk about it like that. But just to show you, so in this particular pack, you get 8 sheets. So there's a couple, these are like little Easter spring designs. There's a couple 12 designs, and there's 2 big rose pages, and there's lots of small ones. Like if you wanted to do Easter eggs, I'm thinking about doing an Easter egg class. I bought a bunch of
that would be so
eggs.
cute.
Yeah, and you know, I put them on journals. I put that little bunny guy on there and used a chick on the hanger last night.
Where's those hangers? You should show us them hangers.
Those hangers are already at Cosmic Charlie's, and I posted them today on my social media, so they're on there. But at any rate, so you're getting 8 large sheets, and you can use them more than once. So if you, I don't, you know, usually when I'm doing something, like I'm using them in combination, like I may do them on drawer fronts or something. And if I'm buying, like some of the packs like might have 8 sheets that are all the same thing, you know, so if I'm doing that on drawers, then I still have some left. So what I always suggest, because we do classes and stuff, if get something like this, you know, that has sheets that have the smaller images. So you can see I've used this already. But you can get a lot out of these little images, several projects. So that's what I suggest. There's one called Melange. I love that one. It's full of black and white images that you can, you know, once you have it on your piece, you can seal it and then like paint, like kind of watercolor paint over it. And I think they're great fun with a lot of potential. So I have tried, like I said, I put them on glass this last week, And I did that before. I mean, I've tried doing it like reverse decoupage and putting it on from behind. And, I've had all kinds of that. One time I tried doing that. I just kept layering and layering stuff because it wasn't working, but I'd get enough to have a little bit, So anyway, just keep plugging away with it if it's something that interests you.
I know, I love the idea of the Easter eggs too, Gretchen. And I'm going to use a lot of them on some smalls when I bring smalls that I'm redecorating into the booth, because
Right.
I do a lot of bottles. Most of the time I just give them away. I won't though. I won't. Some of them are beautiful. Just
Yeah.
all they are is leftover bottles. But I
Mhm.
paint them with chalk paint. I try to use I don't always use slick stick, but I have I always forget the name of it. It's right over there because I've been working out of my dining room. Um, Insulex, I think it's called Insulex. It's a for for a glass surface or a very shiny surface. Um,
Sticks?
it's like sticks, yeah. It's
Okay.
made by Insulex, and so I'll do like something like this. But if you do it right, the paint stays on forever. You can wash
Yeah.
it and everything. And these are easy to do, like the hand painted designs.
Mhm.
It's just
So
fun.
really then the two things that you really have to kind of watch out for that I'm seeing is if you're not using a light colored paint, you're using a red, orange,
Mm,
whatever you put that inlay on, when you go to take it off, there's going to be some of that paint left in that paper. And if you decide that you're going to use a top coat, that messes your sheets up because the top coat gets hard
Mhm.
oh,
inside that sheet and you
Right.
can't use it again.
oh
Right.
wow.
It won't, it's going to seal the paint on the
It
transfer.
would. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yep.
So you need to be aware of that because some people do use medium, top coat medium for decoupaging.
Mhm.
Um, I can't find a reason why I'd want to do it with an inlay, but
Well,
maybe if
here's
it was a piece of wood, like I got behind me, maybe if it
right,
was wood.
stained. I had a customer that wanted to use the rooster inlay that's in that melange set on a blend. She wanted to blend it, the paint first. And then, so that's why she wanted to let that dry and then use the sealer.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, so that would be, and also putting it on glass, that would be another application or another reason why you'd want to use a sealer.
Right. So
Whenever
what you
a
could
while
do
back,
is
I
kind
did a wall in a
of
hair salon, and I just, was using transfers and everything. And
yeah.
I was using that chintz inlay, which was my very favorite. And I wish they'd come back with that one because it was just nothing but all over little tiny
Little
chintz
pink
flowers. It was
flowers.
great.
Yeah, yeah. Very
Yeah.
pretty.
And so I was using that one and I was using an all in one paint. And I
Mm.
didn't even know the difference then or what was the reason. And I was starting to realize that when I pulled those ones quicker, that I got a better image. So,
Wow.
it's really just trial and
These
error.
yeah, there's a
So
lot.
you can go ahead then and use that all-in-one paint and put that paint lay in there, but just make sure you take it out a little bit sooner than regular.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, I wonder if that having that little bit of top coat in that silk paint is enough where you can't reuse that sheet again.
Yeah, that's pretty much, I mean, that's what my experience was with them. Um, with the flowers that I did on there. I wasn't getting second images with the ones that I used it with silk.
Well, then there must be just enough top coat polymer, in that where it's going to plug it up and then the paint's going to stay on the back of the inlay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I know like that stuff dries hard as a rock on my brushes if I don't get them fast enough. It's
Yeah.
wicked stuff.
Right.
Well,
You know,
you look at it. I've been doing furniture for 3 years. I've probably had that inlay. Maybe I bought it 2.5 years ago, and it's the only one that I have bought. But it is a tool that you like to have in your toolbox, just in case you have something that maybe you could use that on or would look really nice. Like what I did was I put it on that lampshade. I put that Marrakesh design on that lampshade, and it just went with that lamp so well. But now I have a lot left, and I will use it, but it's just another tool for you to have in your toolbox to use.
Yeah. You should see my leftover box. I have a big wooden box that I just have full of paint inlays. Some I've never used, and some I've used partially, and some I've used several times, and they're about ready to become decoupage paper. so yeah, and I don't get rid of any little scraps because I do sometimes make earrings and stuff, and I'll use them on there.
A great thing to do with them too. Yeah.
Yeah. So
with the rest of mine, the one that I had to pick off the stool, I'm going to use that to decorate bottles, but I'm going to use it like so I'm going to do, my plan was to do a rough finish on it, like I use sometimes spackling. So I take the spackling with a little bit of paint, and then I just apply it. And then I'll take those little bits of paper and I'll just stick it on there, and then I'll cover it with I'll spray it so that it has a covering. But I'm going to try that. It won't go to waste.
You know what I would do? I would like apply your paint and your spackling, let that dry, and then take the paint and put another coat over it, and then try your inlay.
Yeah, that would work too. Yep.
Yeah, because then you'd still have your texture, but then you don't run the risk of it not working, because I have no idea what might be in the spackling that might resist it from working, because some of that's pretty quick dry stuff too.
I wasn't going to try to pull it off. I was just going to leave it on there.
Gretchen says, what do you use for the earring hardware? I get my findings usually from Amazon. I either do like a sterling or I do nickel free. So that's, I get my jump rings and my ear wires and all that. And another place that I used to get it all the time was from Wish. I haven't, but they have amazing earring hardware, beautiful sterling and unique ear wires, heavy duty. I mean, they're beautiful. So I don't shop on Temu, but I used to have a really big thing with Wish.
Right. Hi, Stephanie.
Hey, Stephanie.
How about surgical steel, Levon? Do you use that?
Yeah. I've even used plastic, because some people are allergic to any kind of metal, and they do make plastic ear wires and stuff. So Stephanie's redoing her daughter's old dollhouse in dark academia.
Oh, that would be so cool.
Yeah. Love it.
And we'd
love to see that.
Oh, yeah, that's a great place to use inlays, actually.
Yeah, how's it going with that, Stephanie? I wish you could talk and let us know, but
I know.
Oh, in the dollhouse.
Oh.
Okay. The kitchen table.
I want to see it on the regular kitchen table.
What a plan. Start small and then go bigger. That's what I did with that little hutch. Start small and go large.
Yeah, send some pictures. Yeah, and I'll
Yeah,
put
so
them
then she'll
up in the
share them
video.
with us.
Yeah. Oh, dollhouse. You
Yeah,
know who
Gretchen
does
says the dollhouse
dollhouses?
sounds cool.
Just speaking of dollhouses, is Tim, Roos Restoration. He's got this
Yeah.
beautiful dollhouse that he works on.
Oh, so neat dollhouses. That's a
Yeah,
whole other world.
it is. I used to build not furniture, but like little window frames and pictures for a dollhouse because someone had given me a scroll saw. And I made my mother this. I don't know what made me think of it, but I just ended up making this little door. And the door had a frame and the door opened. It had a little handle. When you open the door, um, there was like something inside. Like it was so cute. They had
Aw,
like a little wreath on the front. My mother absolutely adored that thing. She
aw.
like went crazy for it. It was so funny.
I know grown
Mm.
women that, do the miniature thing. As a matter of fact, my cousin
Fun.
does sets for movies, where they make little miniature, sometimes just the scaled down miniature of a room to shoot
Yeah,
a scene.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
pretty cool.
It is cool.
Yeah, Mara's showing Hearts with Dark Academia. Now, I
Yes.
would have never guessed that for Mara, but then when you did that beautiful piece that had the decoupage all on the front of it, and it was a little bit on the darker side, I thought, man, that's really gorgeous. So it was showing that you really like Dark Academia because that piece was absolutely beautiful. Really like that one.
Yeah, I love dark academia stuff too. And I think, when the thing about being in design, being in art, it's like you love all of the genres, and you can't do them all in your own house, but that's fun when you can just do them, practice doing them on other things. So
So
Gretchen
what
says
do
she
what do
reads.
we have for competitions coming up so we can tell everybody in case they want to?
I have them listed right here, but let me just say, Gretchen was saying she received a complicated dollhouse kit when she was about 8, but her mom took it over, and her mom did the same thing with my cousin's dollhouse, like mother, like daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be really, really
It's
a lot.
addictive, that stuff. You
Yeah,
really,
or
really get.
also modern industrial. I love that style as well. Okay, competitions. All right. So, what we have next coming up, so March 30th is the next challenge, and that is Crystal's Unique Antique Challenge, which is being co hosted with Kat this time because she was the winner of the last challenge. And the hope is is it you, Kat?
Yeah,
It is you, right? Yeah, I got confused for a minute. Yeah, so you're transforming hopeless furniture, right?
yeah, exactly.
And
But
using
it,
pastels.
that's the only rule is pastels.
Okay.
Dollar amount?
I don't know if we did a dollar amount. I can't remember. It's probably $40. If there is, it's $40. But
All right.
it's posted on Facebook.
Mara's is already done and sold.
Oh,
Okay.
did you do a
All
video,
right.
Mara?
Try again.
You just use that.
Yeah, you did get your video done, right, Mara? And no dollar amount. So sounds like she did her video.
Okay.
She knows the rules.
Yeah.
Okay, so April 13th, then the Flippin' Bunch is gonna work with Cheryl Wall from Lifestyle of a DIYer. Okay, yes, Mara did a video. And that one is the Goodwill Hunting Thrift Flip Challenge. And it's not furniture, it is home decor items. It's just thrift flips. And the budget is $25. And that's just for the pieces that we don't have a budget on the stuff you're using to make over your pieces. That $25 is just what you spend at the Goodwill or whatever thrift shop that you go to. But we're calling it Goodwill, honey, because of the fact that when you say Goodwill a lot in your videos and you use it in your titles, that YouTube is supposedly pushing that out to more people. So
Sure,
remember
mine
that.
most last time worked.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'll
everybody
say,
grab their cell phone, make little videos of, and enter the competition. Start a YouTube
yeah,
channel.
for sure. Well, I've actually been reaching out
Oh, okay,
to
Stephanie. Thank you.
oh, cool. Stephanie texted some pictures to Kat of the dollhouse.
Oh,
So
cool.
I've actually been reaching out to a bunch of different YouTubers that do thrift flips. So
Yeah.
hopefully this will be a pretty big challenge. I think that is good for all of us as YouTubers.
Well, I think I'm gonna get after Corey about it, because I think she'd be able to come up with 3 of them. She's always a busy girl. I think
Yeah.
she should be able to whip up 3 of them quite easy. She's pretty
Yeah.
talented and creative and quick.
I did talk to her, and she said she should be able to. So, but yeah, work on her.
Is there a
And,
number of items that you have to have?
3 items.
3. Okay.
3 items. Yes.
Under 25.
Yeah, $25 budget. Okay. Gretchen wants to know, Mara, what is the name of your channel? Which is Borderline RX, right? Okay, so that's all I've got right now, I believe, for challenges. Those are the up and coming ones.
Did you say that Jen, our friend Jen from the beach, was going to come on?
Yeah, Classy Beach. Yeah, she's going to do it. She used to do furniture flipping videos all the time, and she's going to do it. She wants to get back into it. So
thank you, Mara.
yes, thank you.
Yeah, that should be interesting, because she's really gone through a lot of changes, and I did not know that she wrote. And she has books that she has for sale on Amazon. And for some reason, maybe it's for recycling purposes, she has gotten into making cardboard furniture. And I've never seen anybody do that, but I'll tell you what, the pieces that she comes up with, you couldn't tell the difference. They look like they were made from wood.
I know, she always did really cool stuff. And her house that they lived in Arizona, they did a bedroom makeover. I don't know whether anybody remembers that, but we wanted it to look like a cave because of the hot sun, all the time, and the bright sunlight. They did it to be like a dark cave, and that was pretty cool.
I'm looking at pictures of this dollhouse.
She's collected so many miniatures, even a toilet paper roll and holder. Are you able to show us the pictures that she sent, Kat?
I don't know how.
Down at the bottom, it says present. You might be able to there, but you'd have to save it on your computer first.
Okay. Well, let me work.
Might have to save it for next time, but yeah, we all want to see those pictures for sure.
Mara says the Eco Challenge 2025 will be whimsical. So is that like Halloween?
Mara, that's one that you do, right? The Eco Challenge, or does somebody else host that one?
I think Mara does it.
Hey, Charlene's in the house. How you doing, Charlene?
Hey.
Hey, last time Charlene popped on, I guess it was on my video, and we were talking about Made by Marley, and I said that Dar and I were brand ambassadors, and I totally forgot to mention that Charlene is a brand ambassador also for Made by Marley. So
yes, and the new release is supposed to be coming out from Lel from Scotland. We have some packages coming over for
Mm-hmm.
Levon and I and Shirlene. And we're hoping there might be some, it's all new release stuff, but we cannot show it to you until after Lel presents it. And we're planning on doing a whole show on all the new releases of the decoupage paper from Made by Marley and the IOD paper, IOD supplies, stamps, molds, transfers. And we might even have some of that other paper from Australia by then that we can show.
True, yeah. And there's a new product too, and I think we can say that because she put it on the regular Made by Marley clan. All right.
Oh, she's got it. There it is.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Isn't it?
Okay.
Let me open the other one. I didn't know it would go right there. And
that's cool. So Gretchen does subscribe to Mara's channel. She just didn't know her name. And Charlene says, yes, March 7th is the new release for Made by Marley. How's the voting going? Are you getting a lot of response? Yes, Mara, you could say that. I wish I could spill the beans, but we can't yet. But the voting is open until Sunday. So,
oh, I see.
Oh, did we already talk about inlays? Yes, we did. But do you have any questions or comments about inlays, Charlene? Do you use them?
Do you have any tips for us?
Yeah. Oh, the wainscoting fell over. All right, Gretchen will have her votes in this weekend, and she's feeling inspired by the beautiful dollhouse.
Did I show you that one?
Yeah, we saw that one.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Look at the stairs. That's so cute.
Oh, that's so cool. Wow.
Oh, I think it's upside down, isn't it?
I was going to say, that may be upside down.
I really love dollhouses. And I was actually looking at them at Hobby Lobby the other day. And I said, why do they always have to have dollhouses in horror stories? That just ruins it for me.
Do they?
Yeah. A lot of times they have a dollhouse in a horror story.
I don't watch horror stories, I guess.
Oh. All right. Charlene says she's never done a paint inlay, but she just ordered her first one from Cassandra Pecan Porch.
Oh, I love Cassandra. Yeah.
Okay. It has to be IOD, right? Because they're the only ones that make them.
Yeah.
Charlene, what I'm going to tell you to do, because Kat and I didn't do it and we met slight failures, is read the directions on the back of the package, because that would have helped both of us out a great deal.
Yeah, most important.
Yeah.
I used their Maracaba. Is that how you say that? Maracaba?
I think it's actually Moroccan.
Oh, it's Morocco. I've been calling it Maracaba. Oh, my Lord, help me.
Abracadabra.
I used it on a lampshade, and then I did the lamp base a couple years ago, and I really did like using it. It didn't totally cover all the spots, so I had like little lines where the paint didn't come off the inlay onto the surface of the lampshade, but it was okay because it looked distressed anyway. Right. So maybe that's the answer too on a first time use. Try to do something that's maybe distressed, and if it doesn't come out completely, then you can just kind of run with that design.
Thank you for sharing those pictures, Stephanie.
Yeah, Gretchen's dreaming of creating a model of her house and testing out remodeling. But your house is boring, unlike most kits. I'm sure it's not boring. But yeah, what I would sum up to say is read the instructions, use a chalk-based paint that you like, rather than experimenting with different paints until you get used to it, and then
Yeah.
you're ready to experiment with different things and different surfaces and all that stuff. So that's my summary of tips. And
Yeah,
also,
once you get it
Yeah.
set down, don't move it around by rubbing it with anything. Just let it sit there until it gets dry. And if you're going to use any type of top coat, then you cannot use your inlays again, because that top coat's going to get hard and you won't be able to access the paint on the inlay.
And
And
use
when
the
you're going to go to cover it, if you're heavy handed and you're going to brush it on, you may smear it. So they were saying in the directions here to spritz it with I don't know what the heck did they call it, but I just spritz it with Rust-Oleum.
the 2X clear.
Yeah, the clear
Yeah.
matte 2X. Then nothing will move, and then I can put my other top coat over that. That is a polyurethane matte sealer. So basically, it's apples and apples. So
Right. Or wax.
I'm just
You can use wax over it, but after you've done that
yeah.
with the clear coat. So basically we summed up that it's a learning curve, and once, in my opinion, so I would say don't try it, and then if it didn't work, don't try it again, or don't feel like you can't try it again, because you know, we all fail at lots of different things, but if we don't ever do it again, then we won't have any successes either. So
and it
I
actually
feel like
comes
it's
with
worth another.
right.
Yeah.
It comes with a lot of papers as well.
Yeah.
It's not
So it
just
is
one or
like that.
two. There's a lot. There's a stack of them in there.
Yes, I have, Gretchen. I've learned a lot my whole life.
So before we go, so tell us about what's behind you. I think we've seen them before, but now they're going to come into play, right, Dar?
Oh, this thing back there?
Yeah.
That's the balsa wood that we have been trying to figure out, because I had a bad experience with it like 2 videos ago. It all like bled through. And I'm trying to decide if I should go ahead and just paint it with some lacquer first, then paint it, or if I should just go ahead with my Boss, which from Dixie Belle, the Boss, I've always had good luck with that. I think I'm leaning towards the Boss direction, just because I don't want the stink inside the house.
Yeah.
So I just hope it works. But this is a panel for my son's wedding, March 22nd. So I better get a rolling on this one.
Yeah. So are you thinking about doing the geisha girl thing? Or was that just a...
Well, like an Oriental. I mean, I don't know. Is a geisha girl different than an Oriental girl? Probably.
Dar, go on to Zazzle and look for a decoupage paper that is an Asian style paper. They have tons.
Well, I thought about, just freehanding them on there as well. I'm just working it out right now. I've got all kinds of transfers laying out here, and decoupage paper, and stamps, trying to think of which way I can do this.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe she might ask me for it, after the wedding, if I get it done, that is. So I really have to get rolling on this.
So
and
Charlene, which one
decided
did you...
the backside Can you imagine? All right, I'm going to put all this stuff on one side, and I realize there's a back side on it. No. So I think, like Levon said, either find some material to decoupage on the other side, or I may just find some wallpaper and put it on the other side just with one design on it. So then they can turn it either way. If you didn't know, these panels are really in right now, 2025, for decorating. So that's what the news is telling me.
You could use a heavy wrapping paper too. That might be less expensive.
Yeah.
But a good quality one. So
Yeah.
Charlene, which paint inlay did you have to have? Which is the one you ordered? Maximalist girly that you are. And then while we're waiting for her to answer, we'll be wrapping it up because we're at our hour. That always goes so fast.
It does.
So, and you know, we'd love to have you guys have anybody that wants to be a guest on our show. We'd love that. We're always looking for guests, so we'd love to have you. And if you don't
give us an email, the flippinbunch@gmail.com.
Yeah. Yep. You can email us that for any business you want to discuss with us, or also if you want to be reminded of our videos, then you can either text live to 814-515-4905, or you can email live in the subject line to flippinbunch@gmail.com. Do you apply heavy duty wallpaper the same as any decoupage? Yeah, I've done it before. I've done it for drawer liners before.
Well, I've done a lot of wallpaper in my day too. And I always thought when they would say pre-glued paper, you didn't really need any glue. Well, I'm here to tell you, you still have to put glue on it because after a number of years, it comes off if you don't. There's the pre-pasted wallpaper doesn't have enough paste to last probably over 3 years.
Hey, Cheryl's here.
Hey, that's a good idea, Charlene.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Hey, Cheryl, how are you?
So we were telling them about the upcoming challenge that we're doing with you, and we need to touch base with you too. And let's see, Charlene, I wrote that down in my notes. We'll have to reach out to her. I'm going to have to check out her channel. So she has a YouTube channel?
I did reach out to her.
Okay, cool. She has a YouTube.
Oh, Cassandra?
YouTube channel?
Cassandra does, yeah.
Okay. It's called Pecan Porch, I guess?
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, she's fun. She's really
all
great.
Right. Cool.
She makes neat stuff.
She does.
I can't believe I've never heard of her.
Oh yeah, she's a doll. She's funny and she's fun and she's super nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, does anybody have any additional questions about inlays or anything else for that matter?
I don't know if you noticed that Charlene said that she's using the Vita Flora. It's Debbie's DIY, like folk art.
Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah. Oh, I missed that. Okay. Vita Flora. I have to cheat real quick and look. She's a Made by Marley retailer.
Yeah.
I may have seen her on the page, but not.
She's a girl after my own heart because she doesn't follow any rules. And I just love that. Yeah. Yeah. And so you don't know what you're going to see, and it's always fun.
Oh, is that the one that? That's the one Debbie Bear designed for IOD. The Vita Flora.
It looks like a folk art. It's got
Yeah.
the primary colors on it. Yeah.
Super bright colors. Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
that's so cool. Charlene, I can't wait to see what you do with that, because that's right up your alley. I
We
have that
60
one, and I still haven't done anything with it, so I'm going to have to do that.
Right.
Do we have 63 people watching us?
No, I don't think so. Looks like 6 to me.
6, yeah. But that's good.
Glasses.
Stephanie said I have always put glue on pre-glued wallpaper.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the best thing to do.
So,
All right,
if you guys
ladies.
can think of something for our next video that you would like to discuss, let us know. And we
Yep.
will get working on it, and we will get working on more guests.
Yeah.
Yeah, we probably should go look at my butterfly rash is starting to come out. You can see it
Jeez.
from lupus. That's what they call the butterfly rash.
We're gonna paint it.
Yeah. It's because I exercised today, so
Yeah, the stress. Yeah.
so tomorrow I won't be able to move. But
Oh,
Right.
oh well, that's
you'll
life.
have to lay in the hot tub. That's it. That's all.
Well,
I'll have to
we're going to
loll.
sign off for now. And thank you all so much for joining us. We love you all. And you have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you so much.